What is up, everybody? It's Wyvern here. In today's video, we're going to be starting my new series for the Mirror Cup, my top off-meta picks for each cup. With Jungle Cup moving out and Mirror Cup moving in, we're going to start in chronological order and work our way through all of the cups legal in Mirror Cup, but we're going to start with Boulder Cup. So my top off-meta pick for the Boulder Cup is going to be one that got a lot of attention in Rainbow and Jungle Cup, and that is going to be Forretress. Now, the ideal moveset for Forretress in the Boulder Cup is not going to be what it was in the last two. In Rainbow Cup, you wanted Rock Tomb Earthquake on it, primarily with that Rock Tomb to take care of Charizard. In Jungle Cup, I used that same moveset, but I think most people preferred Heavy Slam Earthquake. I liked the Rock Tomb to take care of the flyers and the bugs, but I finally TM'd mine to get Heavy Slam, so we're going to be running Bug Bite, Heavy Slam, and Earthquake on it. Now, Forretress has a lot of interesting matchups against some of the top meta Pokemon. It is going to beat Pokemon such as Bastiodon, Jirachi, Torterra, Whiscash, Quagsire, Trash Wormadam, Marshtomp, Bronzong, and Steelix. So it wins a lot of the relevant matchups. However, it is going to lose to Pokemon such as Swampert, Lucario, Medicham, Gallade, and any fire type such as Blaziken or Infernape. I know Magcargo's on the list as well. That's not necessarily getting play, so I think Blaziken is going to be the biggest threat there. It's going to win 54% of its matchups, so it wins more than half, which for any Pokemon in any given meta, I'd say more than half is a pretty good win percentage. You're not going to get the same dominance out of it like you are from Gardevoir in the Nightmare Cup or Vigoroth in the Jungle Cup. You're just not going to get that same dominance out of any off-meta pick. But for an off-meta pick to have 54%, I think, is definitely pretty good for it. So without further ado, guys, let's dive right into some matches and see how Forretress performs in the Boulder Cup. Huge shout out to C-Mags here for doing these battles with me. He's another Minneapolis-St. Paul Pokemon Go player, so be sure to go over to his channel and show him some love. We're going to lead with Bronzong here just because I haven't done a ton of practice for the Boulder Cup, and I don't have a ton of Pokemon powered up for it, so I wasn't exactly sure what to use. I do, however, know Mud Bomb is going to do a number on it, so we're going to switch out here. We mean to go for the Forretress and accidentally hit on the Medicham, so even after, 5-6 cups that I've done, you're going to be making play mistakes. It happens to everybody. But regardless, we're going to go straight for that power-up punch, and here's where I start making mistakes. In regionals, one of my main strategies was to double shield Medicham because it was my most powerful Pokemon, especially once it was powered up. So we're going to do that same thing here, and we're going to double shield. However, I did not realize how little damage Mud Bomb actually does to Medicham. I kind of anticipated doing it like a third or even half of my health, and I was just trying to keep my Medicham as close to maximum health as possible. But we'll see right here that the Mud Bomb does in fact not do that much damage to Medicham. So that's one good thing to note. It does next to nothing. So that could also be just because he undertapped. I don't know exactly what was going on there, but regardless, I think we made a mistake shielding. So we're going to go straight for that power-up punch there, finish off his Whiscash, and at this point we're just able to energy farm the Magneton. We have a powered-up Medicham. We don't need to drop a power-up punch or anything on it. Then he's going to come in with the Medicham, and we're going to switch to Forretress because I want to keep my Medicham for the last because I know that, if that makes sense, I know that my Medicham is the only thing that stands a chance against his Medicham. So if he's able to knock it out, my Bronzong and my Forretress don't stand a chance. So we bring the Bronzong and the Forretress in to deal a good bit of damage on it and absorb some of those early hits, so we can hopefully burn some shields and then just come in at the last second with the Medicham and finish him off. So that was my goal with that switch there. So we see we're going to be able to tank one more power-up punch from the Medicham. We were able to burn a shield a little bit ago there. And we're just able to drop a couple more Bug Bites before it manages to feint us. And then we're going to come in with the Bronzong here. Confusion does a decent bit of damage, but not a ton. And then this power-up punch isn't actually going to do as much as I thought it would because we're psychic, so we partially resist it. So definitely a good hit, but not completely devastating to us. But those counters are definitely doing a number. So we're able to get the Medicham real low, not able to get to that Flash Cannon there. So he's going to be able to feint us with the power-up punch. However, we are going to be able to come in with our Medicham now. We're going to go straight for that power-up punch. I thought about just trying to feint him with counters, but now our counters are going to be powered up, even if he is going to shield this. So we're going to go straight for this power-up punch, and then we're just able to knock him out with counters, which will give us this match. On to match 2. Second match, we're going to lead with Forretress because it is a Forretress video, so why not, right? And right away, I realize I know I'm going to win this matchup because I did my Forretress research and homework. And I know we beat all of the Mud Boys except Swampert. So I know this is one that we're able to stay in. We're not going to switch out of it. And I know that he didn't charge up enough energy here to get to a Stone Edge, so we're going to be able to tank whatever he throws at us. Ends up being a Sludge Bomb, so that works out really well. We're going to go straight for that Heavy Slam. We're going to try and burn a shield here. Unfortunately, it doesn't work, and we do get the Heavy Slam to go off. Doesn't deal a ton of damage, but it gets him down into the yellow. And then we're just going to keep going at it with Bug Bites. However, he does decide to switch out, so I pull up my switch until I realize that this is another Mud Boy matchup that I'm able to win. And then here we accidentally undertap a little bit, trying to make those text messages go away at the top. So we end up not hitting him for a ton of damage, but that's all right. Heavy Slam wouldn't have done a ton to begin with. So it's just nice to see that it did at least a little bit of damage for as much as we undertapped. Here, I know I don't have to shield because even if it's a Mud Bomb, which it was, it's not going to deal a ton of damage to us. We are going to be able to tank it. Now we are going to shield, though, just because I want to keep the Forretress alive. It's a Forretress video, ultimately, and he's pretty low at health, so I want to see what he's able to do. So we're going to go for this second Heavy Slam here, and this is one that we are going to be able to fully charge up. We're going to get that Excellent on it. And that's going to deal, like I said, not a ton of damage on that Whiscash, as you're able to see there. Not that much more than the undertap Heavy Slam. And once again, we're going to shield here. In a real match, I probably wouldn't have double shielded a 2/3 health Forretress, but I just wanted to keep it alive for the sake of the video. So we are able to finish off that Whiscash just with Bug Bites. And we're going to be going straight for that Heavy Slam on whatever comes in. However, he has enough energy charged up on the Quagsire too. So he gets to his move first. Thankfully for us, it's just a Sludge Bomb, and we are barely able to get our Heavy Slam off as well. So we're going to go for that, and it is going to burn his first shield. Unfortunately, this late in the match, I had a brain fart, and I thought it was his second shield. So you'll see the consequences of that a little bit later. So he feints our Forretress, which was able to single-handedly almost defeat 2 Mud Boys. So that just shows how formidable he is. Now we come in with the Lucario. We go for the 2 fighting strategy. And here's where thinking that was his second shield comes back to bite. I'm trying to get to a Shadow Ball here because I think he's shields down. I know I can see up in the upper right that he has a shield, but I'm just dumb. So instead of going for that power-up punch, we're just going to let the Lucario die pretty much. So that was a big oops on my part, but we're going to come in with the Medicham. And I know he has the upper hand here because his is 100%. And it's powered up. It has a little bit of damage, but it's powered up twice, whereas we're only about to be powered up once. So his is 100%, and mine's only a 1408. I'm not sure what IVs they are, but I know that I need to come up with a unique strategy to get out of this situation, because if I just stick with it, I'm pretty sure that he's going to win it. So we decide to go for Ice Punch instead to mix things up a little bit. So we get that first power-up you saw earlier, and now instead of going for another power-up punch, we are going to be going for Ice Punch. And I'm hoping that this is going to be enough to put us over the edge and to be able to knock out this Medicham. It doesn't knock it out, but it gets it down to real low health. However, unfortunately, he is able to get to that power-up punch just before we're able to knock it out with counters. So a very close match, but ultimately does result in our loss since he's able to get that power-up punch off before us. But without further ado, guys, let's hop into match 3. Final match, we are once again going to go with Forretress. I liked how it worked out in the last one. Unfortunately, I see him lead with the Hitmonchan, and I know this is not a matchup that we're able to win. However, we're going to stick with it because I didn't really bring anything that counters the Hitmonchan exceptionally well. So we're going to stay in it. We're going to tank this first power-up punch just because the first one's always the weakest. You want to save your shields for the back end. So we're going to go at it with the Bug Bite. We're going to go straight for that Heavy Slam. And I can't remember if he shields this or not. We do get the Excellent on it. He is going to shield that. Okay, so if anything else, we're able to shield bait him a little bit there, get that first shield out of him. And this is one we are going to shield just because I think I might be able to get to a second Heavy Slam before he knocks us out. Unfortunately, I thought wrong. So we just end up getting a couple more Bug Bites off before he feints us with counters. We did get the Hitmonchan real low, though. So we're going to come in with our Medicham now, obviously throwing a Lucario against a powered-up Hitmonchan is suicide. And it's at this point I decide not to shield. I decide I'm going to save it for later in the match. I don't want to waste all my shields on the first Pokemon. And then he goes for that Ice Punch instead of the power-up punch, so that actually deals a good chunk of our health to us. So we go straight for the power-up punch on whatever comes in, and it ends up being a Jirachi. This is not one that I've trained against. Like I said, I haven't really done any Boulder Cup matches before this, but Jirachi isn't one I've battled against at all, so I really don't know what to expect. But we are able to get to another power-up punch before it gets to whatever it does. Whatever big amount of damage it has coming at us, because it's a friggin' mythical Pokemon. But we see it get to... Oh no, okay, so it does feint us with just fast moves. So we're going to come in with our Lucario, and now it's going to drop that move. So there's that move. We're going to shield there, just because Lucario is my last Pokemon, and I'm pretty sure he's going to have a Medicham in the back, because if you have a 100% shiny Medicham, you're going to be bringing that to every match that you can. And I do guess right, so there's that Medicham. And it's at this point, I do actually go for the Shadow Ball, because if you remember the last match, I made the mistake thinking he has a shield. We are able to get to the Shadow Ball in time since we charged up a bit of energy on the Jirachi, and that's able to knock out that Medicham for us, giving us the win in this match. So after doing some research on Forretress and doing those practice matches with it, I am definitely a fan of how it performs in the Boulder Cup. I'm not saying it's the best Pokemon ever, but it can definitely play with some of the top meta Pokemon and is able to take them down, as we saw in that initial look at it in the first half of the video. It can definitely be a budget Pokemon. If you've already purchased that second move on it for 75k, you might want to get as much use out of that as you can. So as a budget PvP player, if you want to reuse it because it has that second move on it, you can absolutely do that, and I think it's a great option for it. That's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. I don't have a ton more to add on it. I mean, we've seen so much coverage of Forretress in the last 2 cups. It's just kind of throwing the same Pokemon into a new meta. But if you guys have any suggestions for future videos for off-meta Pokemon, please be sure to comment below. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Please be sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, guys, I'm Wyvern.